Covering the Universal Orlando Resort for over 5 years, you are listening to the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 222 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. I'm your host Lee, and joining me tonight is the returning, missed last couple, Darren.
What's up, Internet?
I couldn't remember there. And Hunter.
Hey, what's going on?
And Tracy.
Who?
We're all together again for 2 weeks running.
You sound like a pirate.
Back at it again with the Universal Podcast.
And we're going to do one of those episodes. Actually, I'll channel Tracy. This episode's going to be a little bit different from normal. No, it's not. Right. We know you enjoy our tap. I don't know what's going on. We need energy. Another one of our top fives, and this one's for Todd Elsroth, I feel. We are going to do the top 5 attraction facades at Universal Orlando Resort. And Hunter was the one that...
Facades.
Hunter was the one that qualified this. Right, so to put it into perspective, the facade for an attraction is the entrance and the entire building behind it. Therefore, the entrance and Hogwarts Castle is the facade for Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. That is the qualification for what the facade is. So, the order we are going to go in is Darren, then Tracy, then Hunter, then me.
Then me. Now you're Italian.
So you need to
It's me.
give me your number 5s and why. And we will begin with Darren. Darren, what is your number 5 top attraction facade?
My number 5 is Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
why?
okay, so let me just start this whole thing off by saying, as far as Universal goes, I don't think they're as into facades, especially early on. They were not as into facades because they wanted to give it that studio feel. Of course, as time moved on, they got a little bit more advanced into it, but I just don't think there's too many attractions that do have like really cool facades to them. But yeah, no, for this one, I do like the facade because it's got that cool old school comic look panel feel to it. I know it's a small thing on there, but does it? I don't know if you consider the extended queue as well, but the Daily Bugle's out there as well. So, that's what I'll call my number 5.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Think you might be sacked as well, Darren.
Guess that's the wrong answer. I'm sorry.
I guess Lee's is the right answer.
Of course it is. I'm the one hosting the thing. I'm getting all the right answers. Tracy, your number 5.
My number 5 is Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem.
Okay.
Because when you look at it, it just juts out. It's there. It's in your face. It's different to everything around you, isn't it?
It's one of the first things you see coming in the park.
It's, in a good way, it's jarring.
Mm.
You know, and it, in a little way, it reminds me of the Monsters House on 1313 Mockingbird Lane. You know, it stands
you
out.
with your bloody research.
No research needed, thank you very much. I'm a Monsters fan, so shut your cake hole. You know, you've got all those little cool touches. There's the big V. Is it an Airstream? That big...
I don't know what
I think
Bruce
it's based
car's
on an
called.
Airstream, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got that part in the garage or garage, depending on which side of the pond you're on. It's just a fun, bright, tacky facade. You know, whenever I see it, it never fails to bring a smile to my face, even though I'm not bothered about the ride itself.
Because you're not waiting 50 minutes to get into it.
Well, no, to be honest, I like everything about that. I like the facade. I like the initial queue. The second holding area is great. The ride itself, And after that, you know, but yeah. Minion Mayhem. That's my number 5.
Interesting.
I think you like that one, Darren.
Hunter. Your number 5, please.
So, kind of piggybacking off of what Darren said, you know, Universal doesn't have... I was kind of going through my list and I was looking at all these pictures I've taken throughout the years. Universal has some awesome facades, and when they do it, they do a really good job of doing them, or making them, or putting them up, however you want to refer to that as. but kind of in the early years, didn't really do that. I am unapologetically a fan of Jurassic Park River Adventure, but their quote-unquote facade is just a sign outside him on a big rock.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my number 5 is actually Spider-Man as well, in the sense that I think, at least in the sense of it being simple, it fits the rest of the theming of the land. It looks like a comic book panel, and it really lets you know what this ride is about, and it's iconic at this point. You know, Spider-Man, more so for the ride itself, but that ride, it was referred to as the best theme park ride of all time for over a decade, I believe it. Well, close to a decade, if not over a decade at one point. So
Some people still
I'm going to
now.
go with Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. I really liked Dr. Octopus in that one. Tobey Maguire, he was great. I am agreeing with Darren that The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. So yes, I am voting for that one as well.
Interesting.
Awesome.
I will not discuss the facade for the entrance to The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. Right, my number 5, and I'm probably going to get shot at this point then, is Gringotts.
It's your number 5.
That's terrible.
How is that your number 5, Lee?
Because it's not particularly exciting for me. Yes, it's iconic. Yes, it looks exactly like Gringotts from the film, but there's nothing really, other than the dragon on the top, and it looks all right lit up at night. There's nothing exciting about it for me. It is what it is. I think if you take the facade for the ride in the context of Diagon Alley, then it's fantastic. But on its own, it's just a weird shaped building with a dragon on the top.
I am interested to see what you put ahead of this because, spoiler alert, I had to put Gringotts a bit higher, even though I'm not fond of the ride, just because Universal doesn't really do iconic facades, at least up to this point. All right.
Well, there you go. Right, moving on.
Revelations.
We will do our number 4. So it was Darren. Darren, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is The Simpsons.
What the hell?
Okay, so again, you know, like Tracy on her last one, you might not like the attraction so much, but you gotta admit the facade of The Simpsons is pretty grand.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little jaded and
Yeah.
used to it, but seeing the giant Krusty head there is pretty cool, and you know the giant Krusty Land sign behind it, and I think is pretty neat as well. So
I love looking at the Krusty Land from across the waterfront. Like over by London, I love looking over there, especially at night when it's all lit up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool.
Yeah. And Horror Nights, when there's a little bit of mist in front of it, that becomes a very creepy facade as well.
That's
it's very
I'm
ominous.
still waiting on my Treehouse of Horror Universal.
Yep.
Yes.
I think it's a lot better now that they've incorporated the skill games into the facade as well.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'm not a fan of the skill games pretty much anywhere else, but I actually really, really like them there.
Yeah, I like the red carpet leading up to it. It's Krusty's tongue as well.
Yeah, we always stamp on it as we go in.
I'm surprised you chose that one, Darren.
Mm.
Especially considering
Into
what
the
it
ride
replaced.
too. You know, like welcome to a wonderful journey in my mouth.
Okay, I am shocked by people's answers so far. I will be honest. Tracy, number 4.
Right. My number 4 is a horror makeup show.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It is different. It's not obviously it's in the Hollywood area, but it's different. It's a gorgeous building when you look at it.
Pantages Theatre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's elegant. It's Art Deco style, which is one of my favourite architectural, and artistic styles anyway. People, it's gone back to the old soapbox. Stop and look. Take in the details. When you look at this facade, the detail is absolutely astonishing. And I don't get enough time really to stand and just have a look at it and take it all in. It's only when I've looked at photographs that I've realised how much more and how much I've missed as well. And I'd like to think that I take a lot of stuff in. You know, and it's just a bit of silver screen glamour. And of course it houses a horror makeup show, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And the windows out front, you know,
Yeah.
that's always really cool as well.
Yeah.
Plus, it's still a standing tribute to the old classic Universal as well.
It really
Yeah.
is.
I just wish they'd use it more for horror nights. I don't understand why they don't.
Who knows?
Who knows? One of life's mysteries. So yes, horror night.
Darren's like,
show.
maybe if we're lucky, they'll move Fiends over there.
Yeah.
No. Hunter,
Oh yeah. For sure.
Yes.
you're number 4.
Number 4. Number 4 is it's actually a very simple facade. It's probably the one that's got maybe minus Spider-Man the least going on with it. But when I think of Universal, it's something I can always see in my mind's eye, and that is Men in Black Alien Attack.
Okay.
It's kind of just a big white box, but
Yeah.
there's something about pretty much being able to see it from any corner of the park.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things I really like. I really like the little standing towers outside of Men in Black.
Uh-huh.
But the real reason it's even on my list whatsoever, and I actually bumped up Simpsons to put this one there. So yeah, sorry about that, Simpsons, is when you were walking in the park, when you were there in the summer, and the park is actually open a little bit later, and you actually get to see the shooting stars across the front of Men in Black Alien Attack. That's just it's such a simple effect, but it's one of my favorite things to see. And it's just, I have my affections for the ride, and I just get a big grin on my face every time that I walk down Springfield or anywhere else in the park and I'm able to see it. So yeah, Men in Black Alien Attack is my number 4.
Okie dokie.
It almost made my list because of that, because of those and how it looks at night, the light effects that they have on it. But yeah,
Yeah, I love it.
I just think Simpsons looks cool at night and during the day. So
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, I think I've just gone a bit more cliched with mine, haven't I? Right, my number, what are we on? Number 4 is the Hulk.
Oh,
I actually really like the new Hulk facade.
with the statue and the old track.
Yes, and that's one of the big things. The statue's pretty cool. I love the fact that it's an old piece of track that it's holding up. That's something. That's something that 10 years ago Universal would never have done, and now they've realised that there are fans out there who have that nostalgia for the parks.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're doing the type of stuff that Disney would. But I think the main... I mean, I haven't even seen it in person. I've only gone by seeing the pictures of it, but it looks stunning at night. It really does. That's one of the things that Universal seem to be adding a lot to their attraction facades and stuff, because, yes, they are doing things a lot more elaborate now than they used to. I agree with what all of you have said, that you look back at the attractions that have been in the park longer than sort of the last 5, 6, 7 years, they're not particularly for how elaborate Islands of Adventure is. The facades for most of the rides in that park are pretty bland, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But now that's what people expect, and I think the Hulk is stunning. I really like it. And let's be honest, as it was before, it was cack. It has an entrance now, whereas before it kind of didn't.
Yeah.
yeah, very true.
I'm sure Darren will agree with me. One of the most interesting parts about the Incredible Hulk facade is that it's the only mention of the actual Hulk character on the new Hulk coaster.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
It's super weird.
Very odd.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right, moving on to our number 3s. Darren, what is your number 3 for Cade?
Forbidden Journey.
Oh, Hunter's going to kill you.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool tiny castle, but it's a tiny castle up there.
Darren.
Yes.
Darren. Tiny Castle. Have you seen Beast Castle in New Fantasyland?
Yeah, that's tiny.
Yes, I have. That's also a tiny castle.
That's a very tiny castle in comparison. What is this, a castle for ants?
It's a
Well,
tiny
this one is a castle for mice.
A castle for monkeys.
Monkeys.
So when are we going up?
Talking.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really cool facade. It looks like, rocks, and you got that castle up there.
Cool.
I don't know. There's not much to say about that one, I guess.
No.
It just looks really nice.
It does. Well,
I
I
wish
like
they
it.
did more with it.
I'm sure we'll discuss it more.
Yeah, I wish they did more with it at night with the lights like they do in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about it more as we go on. But what I like about Forbidden Journey is I love it's got the same effect at the entrance that Tower of Terror has, with like where it says, I can't remember what it is in Forbidden Journey. Does it say Harry Potter? I can't what it is, but
It
then
says Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
but the Forbidden Journey sign only comes up in the lights every now and again. It's like if you look at is it the Hollywood Tower Hotel, and then in the twinkly lights it says the Tower of Terror. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
Forbidden Journey is the same. I love that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Forbidden Journey, Darren. You've gone down 1 point in Hunter's estimation.
Yeah.
Tracy, you're number 3.
My number 3 is Skull Island,
Oh,
Reign of Kong. Obviously, give it its full title. Now, not been there, obviously.
well,
I
we've kind of seen it
yeah,
from behind a wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I live streamed us walking past it.
Yeah. Obviously, I have, once it's been finished, I've already seen it.
Pictures and videos.
Pictures and videos on net. It's another facade that is absolutely stunning, whether you're looking at it by day or by night. It looks like it's really been carved out of rock, not just constructed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. The planting around it is amazing. Just the attention to detail is unbelievable. I'm sure there's stuff in there that many people have missed, that hopefully we will see if we get back out there. It's one of those things, it's not a great stretch of the imagination to believe it really is a temple. It's just got that foreboding
It's awesome. It looks
air
huge.
about
I don't
it,
know
yeah.
how huge it is, but it looks massive.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number 3. Right.
Hunter, you're number 3.
You called upon me, Lee, and I'm going to answer your question, darn it.
Well, go on then.
It's Escape from Gringotts.
Ooh.
So, Escape from Gringotts is not a ride that I'm very, very fond of. But we're talking about facades. So, it's really cool walking through Diagon Alley and seeing that they've made a film perfect version of Gringotts. Now, I still have my personal wishes for it. I honestly wish the dragon wasn't there because I feel it takes away from the theming. But like Jim berated me years back, not berated me. He kindly told me, like the gentleman that he is, it's a theme park. You got to have something to drive the people in. So
Yes.
I've grown kinder to the dragon as time has gone on.
The dragon's the best
Escape
bit.
from Gringotts it looks massive, and it looks like a real bank, and it's just like everything else in Diagon Alley. It's a great representation of the attention to detail that Universal has when adapting these iconic properties and putting them in their theme parks. So, number 3 is Escape from Gringotts.
I'm trying to think what everyone else has got left in their list now.
There's a lot.
I will agree with Tracy for my number 3, Skull Island, Reign of Kong.
You agree with me?
It shows the direction that Universal are going with their theming and stuff now. Like Tracy said, it looks like actual rock. I love that the entrance bit that you go through is Kong's head. It's awesome. I love the fact that you can see the ride vehicles going around from like standing outside of the facade as well, which is cool. But I think one of the biggest things that Universal seem to be doing is, and I hope it's something that we do see more of with them opening the parks later, but they do seem to be adding light packages to a lot of the newer attractions. You see, they've done it with Hulk. They've done it with Skull Island. That they look stunning at night. We're going to see it when Volcano Bay opens. So I'm hoping that they're going to start opening the parks as late as like Disney do with the Magic Kingdom and Epcot and stuff like that, so they can really show off these the light packages that they're putting on these facades, because unless you go at very specific times of the year, you're not going to see it. And I think Skull Island deserves to be seen during the day and at night. And again, we've only seen it in sort of promotional pictures that Universal have put out there. We've seen it behind a construction wall, kind of. We never thought to actually go into Camp Jurassic and try and have a proper look at it from over the top. So we were like trying to jump up and have a look over the wall.
We're not very clever like that, are we?
I think it encompasses everything that attraction is going to be before you set foot into the queue. And I think it's definitely the top. It's number 3 in the top facades at Universal Orlando Resort.
One thing I kind of wanted to add on top of what you were saying, Lee, is that what's really cool about Reign of Kong, especially at night, is you are, depending on where you're entering from, if you're entering the correct way, you're entering through Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is a very, very dark section of the park. There's not a lot of extra light in there. And reaching kind of the end by the Thunder Falls Terrace and seeing everything lit up with the giant doors and seeing like they usually have the flames on. I think they're always on, but seeing everything lit up when you turn that corner, it's really a stunning effect. And it really provides the identity of, we're out of Jurassic Park. We're into something totally new, but the transition is so perfect that you don't even know while it's happening. So Universal Creative definitely deserves a big round of applause for that, in my opinion.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Also, I can't wait to ride it. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Cool. Well, if you want to make up your mind about which attraction has the best facade, then book a trip to Universal Orlando Resort and make sure to contact Fairy Godmother Travel. They can, of course, take care of all your Universal Orlando vacation needs, and it will not cost you an extra penny.
You know what? You want to say, Universal, I'm going to take a couple days off. I want to go hang out with Hunter. And I want to talk about my top 5 Walt Disney World facades, because Lord knows those are better in a lot of regards. They can also help you out there.
We should do that at some point, just for a laugh.
And you can contact them today by phone on 832-284-4002 or toll free, not toll free, on 888-939-642539 or go to www.fairygodmothertravel.com.
And please let them know that you heard about them because of the UUOP. Every referral made through us helps us continue to bring you the best weekly Universal Orlando podcast.
Right. We will move on to our top 2 facades at Universal Orlando Resort, and we will begin with our number 2. And Darren.
You just called Darren a number 2?
No. That depends. I might do him. It depends what his number 2 is.
My number 2 is Gringotts.
What? Even Hunter yawned. Gringotts.
Yes, Gringotts indeed. It's a nice, cool building, and I don't know. I feel different than Hunter on this one. I really like the dragon on the top. I like the fire burst effect and the effect that it has on the crowds outside. Yeah. I think it's a really cool element, and I think it really ties everything together in Diagon Alley. I think it just gives you that feeling that there's constantly like an event going on, like an event happening. So
it gives it an energy that Hogsmeade doesn't have.
Yeah, certainly. And I like that there's like some things there that, like you think that's the dragon going off, but it's just the train passing by.
Yeah, we've done that a few times.
Yeah.
So, it keeps you on your toes for sure when you're going through there. And it just ties in with the area so well, and just fits in perfectly. So that's why it got to number 2 on my list.
Interesting. Tracy, your number 2.
My number 2 has already had a mention.
Okay.
My number 2 is The Simpsons.
What?
Oh.
Just because you went,
what?
I'm allowed to be controversial with my answers, aren't I?
That was just to wind you up. Right, so The Simpsons ride. What can I say about it? Like Darren said, we've got all like the midway stalls there, which is a lot of fun, and you can actually play them. It's,
but I won't.
Again, it's another bright and colourful facade. It's fun. Again, it's tacky. I don't know what this is saying about me. Bright, fun, and tacky. I'm not sure. That's twice in this one.
That's why we always stay on iDrive.
True, and it's cheap.
Gotta stop at those gift shops. There's a big wizard up top.
The lazy eye.
You know, all of these little, I keep calling them stalls, what are they?
Game
Game booths.
crap.
But they're all so funny. There's gags galore
they are
there.
really
You
good.
know, what's one of them? Don't even
I love
try
the
it, you
Santa's
can't
Little
win.
Helper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even down to like the stroller parking is Maggie in a pushchair.
Or
And
the
obvious-
height thing
Yeah.
is
Itchy and scratchy.
yeah, with the mallet, 'cause we've got a picture of Jade doing the pose underneath, like she's getting whacked on the head from
Yeah.
when she was about 5.
When I could manipulate her, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, ask her kindly to do things. You know, it's just little gags and little details like that. Because again, it's another one. You could spend quite a lot of time just looking at it and finding new things. You know, and I just think it's a cool facade, and I love it. So that's my number 2.
My only complaint is that everything is quite two-dimensional.
But it's The Simpsons.
two-dimensional cartoon is the word I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. Glad you all pick up on it.
Go on then, Hunter. What's your number 2?
Number 2, Skull Island, Reign of Kong. You know why?
Go
They
on.
got a massive hot dog stand right outside.
That sells the Kong dong. Dog.
I think we should be getting some kickback from Universal
I think so.
because
Yeah.
it is a rite of passage in the Producers Club to post your photo eating your Kong dog at this point.
Yes, I noticed Thomas had one last week.
Yes.
The thing I love about Reign of Kong, kind of like everyone has already addressed previous, I guess minus Darren, but I'm sure we'll get to that in just a second. The thing I love about Reign of Kong is that as soon as you walk up, you can tell exactly what's going on.
Yes.
You know that, hey, this attraction's probably not fit for kids. Hey, there's some spooky stuff going on here. Hey, what you got inside those gates, King Kong? There you go. I love the kinetic movement of the attraction. I love that you have these big, gigantic expedition vehicles driving by every couple seconds. And I love watching the gates open, and I like watching the torches flicker. And there's just so much to really, really like about Reign of Kong. I went recently with a good friend of ours at the show, Andy, and he said, well, we kind of agree that it's the best parts of, Indiana Jones out in California and a little bit of Jungle Cruise, along with kind of the classic Kongfrontation feel of things. So just really, really cool. And I think it's a success on all levels. Even if you don't like the ride itself, the outdoor presentation and the queue inside, I haven't heard a single bad thing about. So Reign of Kong, well-deserved, number 2.
Did you just say, as a little bit to the Jungle Cruise, no one told me that there's a skipper on board telling bad jokes?
Well, that's
you see
me. You gotta ride with me.
You see that ape over there? Do you know how he does his bacon? Under the gorilla.
That is a
Well,
bad joke.
so,
It
when you're
is.
waiting in line for the Jungle Cruise, they're playing kind of like the, not swing or big band, but they're kind of just playing like the radio music.
Yeah.
And then they've got the, hey, everybody, how you doing? They've got the old school radio narration
Yes.
on there. So that's where that comes from.
Cool. Oh, I got you. Cool. Right. Well, my number 2, I'm intrigued to find out what people's number 1s is, because there's only one person at the moment I could call what their number 1 is.
I can call Darren's.
Maybe. Darren might surprise you. He surprised me already a few times tonight.
Is it Storm Force Acceleratron, Darren?
Exactly.
My number 2 is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
Oh,
Did you think that was going to be number 1?
no. I'm just trying to inject a bit of surprise.
I mean, it is what it is. It's the most iconic thing in Harry Potter. For Hogwarts Castle, it is what it's all about, basically. Why didn't it make my number 1? Well, I guess you'll find out. But I've said already, I love the little twinkly light thing at the beginning. It is what it is. It's kind of like, I know I said we're not taking Diagon Alley into consideration when you're looking at Gringotts, and I don't think you can take Hogsmeade into consideration when you're looking at Forbidden Journey, but it is kind of that crescendo at the end of Hogsmeade, it's the focus of that entire land. But taking that out just as a thing itself, it is, like I said, it's the most iconic thing you're going to look at in Harry Potter, and I think it's stunning. They've done a good job. It does look a little off scale, but not as bad as Hunter. You've already mentioned the Beast's Castle in New Fantasyland.
What is going on with that castle?
It's a tiny, tiny castle.
Yeah.
They never said how big everyone was.
It's funny because I was there while they were actually putting up New Fantasyland. You would see like a seagull fly by and land on it. Just a giant bird terrorizing.
Yeah, I think the only thing is that those trees need to pad out a little bit along the side because you can see the shore building a little bit from if you're walking like through Jurassic Park, can't you? I know it's not the facade technically, but it...
Yeah, well, you're walking in the wrong way if you're coming in from Jurassic Park anyways.
True.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any difference. Even if you're walking from Hogsmeade into Jurassic Park, you're still going to see that.
Yeah, well, it'll go up.
Yes.
It'll grow.
Trees grow.
And it does look good at night again.
Yeah.
But not my number one. Sorry, Hunter. I do love it, but we'll see. We will now move on to our number one attraction facade at Universal Orlando Resort, and we have a drum roll. Darren, what is your number one, please?
Terminator 2 3D.
No, what's your real number one?
It's Kong.
Yeah.
Kong.
Yeah!
Kong. Yes. Kong is my number one. Everybody else has said is pretty much it. I think the facade out front, the entryway is impressive enough on its own, but like you said, seeing those ride vehicles going by, the gigantic ride vehicles, and also seeing, clearly sitting there. I think they do that to kind of prove a point to you too, because there you can clearly see that there's no track, no track system there while you're standing there in line or walking past it. So I think that's the point, because when you're on the vehicle, you don't know for sure if there is or not. You can't really see anything. But that shows you ahead of time that, all right, there's a robot driving your vehicle.
You just see this big, massive truck booking it down this path, and then you see the other side of the vehicle, the wheels lift up in the air as it's making that turn.
Yeah,
not quite as dramatic, but
yeah. And the only other thing I can compare that to, I guess, I don't know which other facades have the ride vehicle actually come out and around it, but like Test Track.
Yeah.
When you're going up there and you see the ride vehicle speeding by out front, it's kind of cool. It lures you in, and I think this definitely does the same thing, but just with a totally different feel for it. But how it integrates into Jurassic Park and how it very, very easily kind of melts into it is definitely effective, and just every element of it looks really cool, aged perfectly, and the art team did an amazing job with it. So
yeah, I can't wait to see it in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the ride building just totally disappears unless you're actively looking for it. So. Yep. With keeping your eye away from it, I think.
They do a great job of theming everything. Even the team member costumes. I love the team member costumes for Reign of Kong.
Yeah. If I had to work on a ride system, I would want to do that one, I think.
Yeah.
We need to see it.
I know. I love how still the fact that we interviewed Adam Rivest about it. So we got 4 members on the podcast. Who are the 2 that interview the creative team member? The 2 that have written it.
Yep.
Tracy, what's your number one?
Barney's Echo Tunnel.
It's not actually got a bad entrance.
It's an exit, isn't it?
Behave yourself.
It is a facade because it's bigger on the inside. It's the TARDIS of childhood icons.
We've gone in and come out of Barney's backyard. Barney's Echo Tunnel doesn't have a facade. It's part of Barney's backyard.
Okay, it's Forbidden Journey then. Oh, fine.
It's boring. Come on.
Fine. Whatever. It's boring.
Why?
Well, you're not interested.
I'm not, but everyone else listening might be.
It's another one that it looks great by day, it looks great by night. I agree, it could do with a bit more at night, but the park isn't open for that long once it's dark, is it? For me, I think it looks amazing regardless of whether you're viewing it, as I say, night or day, from the back or the front. It's there. As you say, it's iconic, it's just...
When you think Harry Potter, what do you think? Hogwarts.
Exactly. Okay, it's quite imposing. It's beautiful architecture, if you can call it architecture. I know it's not real architecture, but you know, it's just breathtaking for me. As you said, there's a little touches, the twinkly lights, as you call them. I love the boars that stand atop the pillars at the entrance. The winged
One of my
boars.
favorite little details.
I think they're fabulous.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, you know, when you're walking along the pathway as well, you don't doubt for a second you stood next to a giant rock, do you?
No.
So, for me, it's Forbidden Journey's my number one. He's got a face on.
No, I'm fine. It's just, yeah, whatever. Go on then, Hunter. Back her up.
All right, so I'm going to back you up, Tracy.
Good, thank you.
Because I am also gorgeous at night and in day and front and back. So obviously I'm going to give Forbidden Journey my vote. One thing that nobody's mentioned, at least I don't think anyways, is that for me personally, and I think a lot of people feel this way, the entire facade for Forbidden Journey is not just Hogwarts Castle, it's Hogsmeade lining up right in front of it as you're walking through the actual theme park land.
No, we've already had this conversation. That is not part of the facade.
So the facade is interacting with those elements, though. So
Yeah,
the
it
amount
is,
of
but that's-
planning
No.
that someone has to do when you are walking in from when you were walking in from what's that section of the park that needs to go away because it's empty?
Oh, Zeus
Lost
Landing.
Continent.
Oi!
Yeah, Lost Continent. Lost
Thank you.
frame of mind.
Oh.
That
Ooh.
castle looks life-size in the distance. It is one of the most effective uses of force perspective that I can think of in any situation. Just period. But even as you get up closer, as you reach the end of Hogsmeade and you make that turn and you get the full castle reveal, which is why I always say enter that way if you can.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything quite as magical in any of the Universal theme parks. Sure, Reign of Kong is more impressive as far as you've got all these elements. You've got these massive vehicles barreling down the street or down the road, and you've got these giant gates opening up. But as far as, especially like Tracy said, at night, turning the corner and having, you know, Hedwig's theme playing in the background and just the castle revealing itself with a little bit of lights that they have, there's nothing quite like it. And every time I make that turn and everything lines up perfectly, you know, I just kind of stop in my tracks and go, wow, I'm so fortunate enough to have visited this place, you know, dozens of times and still get blown away every single time. So no other facade and Universal property has that effect on me. So I think it's a well-deserved number one.
Agreed.
Interesting. Do
I know what yours is.
you think you do?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Hunter,
Cat in the Hat.
speaking of that area that needs to go away,
Oh, yeah.
my number one is Poseidon's Fury.
It's in my honorable mentions, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Didn't mind to.
I think it is the most elaborate facade in Orlando, if I'm honest, because you enter that whole area is the facade. Because the actual, for me, the facade starts.
Oh, so it's fine when you say it, but not when I say it?
No, because that's part of the facade for it. If you're taking Forbidden Journey in the same, when you enter Forbidden Journey, it's when you are passing through those gates where it says Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. So therefore, you enter Poseidon's Fury from the main thoroughfare across from Mythos. So from where that big hand is holding the trident, back over is the facade for Poseidon's Fury. Not the queue, Todd, the facade, right? And it's just, do you know, it's somewhere that I haven't spent anywhere near enough time, and I realised now, because it is absolutely stunning. You know, you walk in
seashell floor.
Yeah, you walk into that area and know that you are somewhere in another time, in another world that's different to anything you've ever been on in a theme park. It takes you to a different place. You know, you've got like the little waterfalls and all of that, which I love, adding kinetic energy to the area as well. And then the actual building itself is stunning. You know, it is. What are we looking at? Greek? What's Poseidon? Is it Greek mythology? Roman? Which is it?
Greek.
Yeah.
Greek. And again, you know, even though that's been there since Islands of Adventure opened, it's still got a fairly decent nighttime light package on it as well.
I'm questioning myself now.
Poseidon.
It's Poseidon and there's Neptune. One's Greek, one's Roman. I'm confused now.
What?
Neptune or Neptune's Roman, if I remember correctly.
That's what I thought, but I confused myself.
Yeah, Neptune's the same god in like the same realm as Mars, and Mars is Roman, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Roman goddess.
That is correct.
I mean, I love that attraction as well, which is something that not a lot of people can say. I hope it never goes. I'll be honest. I think it's stunning. The last vestige of an attraction that's pretty much team member driven. But take now just the facade itself. I just think it is. We've said that it's elaborate facades aren't something that Universal has been doing up until probably the opening of Forbidden Journey. Yet that's been in that park for what we at 17 years at this point, which is weird when you look at everything else in the park. That is the most elaborate thing in an area that not a lot of people particularly care about anymore. But for that reason, I just think yes, Gringotts is more iconic. Yes, Skull Island is a lot more kinetic with the trucks and stuff, and the night package and the fire and all of that. It is awesome, but it's the most elaborate entrance facade. Just I don't know what else to say about it. I just think it's stunning. So there you go. Yeah. There's my number one.
Cool.
So I guess we've got honourable mentions. So if anyone wants to.
I'll just toss out, because you already took Poseidon's Fury. I've actually got two. I think Mythos is very, very impressive, but it's a restaurant, so I did include it on my list because I was aiming for rides. And another one that I didn't add on my list because I was aiming for rides is the Jurassic Park Discovery Center. I think it's a super effective piece, especially if you're looking at it from the other side of the lagoon.
Yeah.
And even though the inside is very, very dated and, you know, it doesn't really do a lot anymore, the actual presentation is awesome. And I love especially walking down in front of the Discovery Center and looking back, and they've got the amber doors. Like I said, it's them taking that attention to detail from the movies and adapting it and putting it into a real life location.
Well, the Discovery Centre's fair game because we did say attraction rather than ride facade. So me and Tracy actually discussed it.
That was a limit I put on myself.
Right, yeah. Because it could have been fair game if you'd wanted. We actually discussed it when we were talking about we didn't really discuss our list. You know, it's as iconic as Gringotts and Forbidden Journey, but yeah. Anyone else got any?
I also have Poseidon's Fury on my honourable mentions. Again, both night and day, it looks stunning. You know, as you've said, the attention to details are unreal. It simply just didn't make the grade due to the others being placed higher.
They have spoilt it a little bit, actually. We noticed when we were out there last year that they seem to have painted certain bits on it, like really gaudy red and blue colours. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. I think it's like there's like a beaded wristband round the arm holding the trident, and they've painted that like red and blue, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Any other?
Yeah, the only honorable mention I had was the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
With the new statue set up there. I really like that. So,
yeah.
I had when I came down and I put my list. I went through them all, and I had a list. I came up with a list of 6. That was it. It's like, right, there's my 6.
At 11.
So I need to get rid of 1 to get it down to 5, and then put those 5 in order. And the one that got left off in the end was actually Tracy's number 5. Was it Despicable Me, Minnie and Mayhem?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Gru's house. You know how cool.
Whose house?
Gru's house. Say what? But it's cool, you know. It's Gru's house. It's awesome. And then there's like all the little minions along the side doing stupid, crappy things and stuff. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all the rest were better.
So I also had Gringotts on there.
Oh, you didn't have Gringotts at all?
No, nobody picked up on that. No. It's got a dragon that breathes fire on the top. But that's it. It doesn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forbidden Journey's got nothing on the top that breathes fire or
It's got a
doesn't move.
castle.
Yeah. What
Castle
else do you
doesn't
need?
breathe Fire though.
It's got Hogwarts. What else do you want?
Exactly. It's like
Yeah, I want Hogwarts to
iconic.
breathe fire.
Yeah. There's some
I wanted
Dementors
to open it up
floating
like
around
Monster
it.
House. Oh.
Harry's moving castle.
I will admit,
It's one thing that's
Spider-Man though.
in particular. Oh, sorry, Tracy. I didn't want
I
to
just said that.
walk over you.
No, you can talk over me because I was actually admitting to forgetting about Spider-Man.
I didn't forget
Okay.
it. Let's just say
I just
Spider-Man.
wanted to say, like, it was especially apparent to me after doing like this whole month of Halloween Horror Nights and everything. Just like there was more facade work during Halloween Horror Nights than it felt like there was in the parks themselves.
Yeah.
In some corners
Very
of it.
true.
Like Tomb of the Ancients, and it's like, well, why can't you just do this for your stuff that's here all the time?
Yeah.
But that's changing. So
I mean, you look at, to talk about Horror Nights, last year, the Body Collector's facade was amazing.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And that's a temporary thing that's chucked up for like 6 or 7 weeks and then they rip it down. What the hell?
Yep.
Ugh.
that was me walking through Ghost Town the other day, sobbing.
Oh, I need to. I'm like gutted. I want to go back out there for Horror Nights again, Tracy. We need to go next year.
Don't tell me.
Cool. So there you go. Our top facades for the UUOP team was Tracy and Hunter had Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Darren's was Skull Island Reign of Kong, and mine was Poseidon's Fury. So I think we were all... Actually, I was quite surprised. I expected a lot of our list to be very, very much the same, and they were sort of half the time, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I was surprised.
I did not expect anyone else to pick Spider-Man. So, Darren, thanks for getting me on that one.
I would never have expected The Simpsons to have been in there, I'll be honest. Especially from Darren.
I don't know.
Yeah, likes to
It's a
surprise.
grand facade.
There's a question for you then, Darren. Had The Simpsons not been there and it's still been Back to the Future, would you have picked that facade in your top
Probably
5?
not. It's not the fancy when Back to the Future was there. It wasn't incredibly impressive facade either. So
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Off the back of this, I do have an idea for our next top 5.
The worst facade attractions.
Exits.
Exits. No, all the exits are terrible. I couldn't even tell you the exits.
Well, most of them exit through the
only
gift
one
shop.
good
You mean like Gringotts, how you take an elevator to the bottom, then you walk down a bunch of stairs, and then you're back
Well,
on.
Yeah, and then you
Ground
go up a
level.
ramp, down some steps, and you're up in the same level you were when you got on.
yeah.
Man. Now we're just nitpicking.
Best gift shops then.
9 miles.
That's basically
Walk up
what you
9
do.
miles.
That's what that's.
I confirmed it on my Fitbit. It's crazy, but it's true.
It's a quick
9 mile ascension. Yep.
Take that, Disney marathon runners.
Right, before this gets any more stupid, that will wrap up our top 5 attraction facades at Universal Orlando Resort, and also wrapping up episode 222. So for Tracy, Darren, and Hunter, I have been Lee, and this has been the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
That's it for another Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave us a rating and a review. Listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and all your podcast apps. Email us with any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com, or even better, record your message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Check out our blog for even more content at uuopodcast.com. And finally, our sponsors, Fairy Godmother Travel, are here to help with all your Universal vacation needs. So check them out today at fairygodmothertravel.com. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.